Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Tommy Media's Tommy Chalk Talk, where we go beyond the box score and take a closer look at St. Thomas sports. My name is Jake Remes, alongside me Tom Pitzen. So Tom, St. Thomas pulls off a win against Laverne in the first round of the NCAA playoffs. Didn't come off to the hottest start as St. Thomas fans have so come to expect this season. What sort of weaknesses do you think Laverne was able to expose in Glenn Caruso's Tommies?
Well, this is yet another instance of St. Thomas coming out slow. It was a sluggish start. I think the only time teams really moved the ball substantially was in those fourth down fake punt scenarios. But if you look at the Concordia game, if you look at even the St. Olaf game, the St. John's game, obviously tied 7-7 at halftime, it hasn't been all easy going for the Tommies, right, despite their 11-0 record. And really, I don't think that can fly against the St. John's team a second time around. The Johnnies are going to be coming in here in a winner-take-all scenario and for the second time with bragging rights on the line. I don't know if you've seen kind of a trend with St. Thomas in the last couple games not getting off to the best start, but I would argue that that's something you can't do against St. John's.
Yeah, we talked a little earlier actually in this season about how their slower start against Bethel was helpful to get the team's feet back on the ground in a sense. So we'll see if that comes into play this week against St. John's. And again, going back to St. John's, Tom, last time Tommies played them, obviously the big Tommie-Johnnie game, St. Thomas did a pretty good job keeping their foot on the gas pedal, I thought at least. What are some things that you saw from the Tommies that they need to do again to beat St. John's?
Well, that St. John's game was really the first time when I took St. Thomas for real as a national contender. You had those non-conference games against Eau Claire and La Crosse where it was, there were nice wins, obviously, against kind of, I wouldn't say easy opponents, but they're non-conference opponents, not really known for tough games against St. Thomas. But that St. John's game, I saw our defense just put crazy pressure on Nick Martin, not allowing him any time to throw. They held Sam Sura in check somewhat. You're never going to stop him completely, but they kept him, at least didn't run wild against us. True. And I saw our defense really emerge as an elite unit in Division III football. And then again, that was Jordan Roberts' big breakout game. 230 yards and 4 touchdowns against a nationally ranked team. That says a lot, and they're probably going to have to ride him again in this St. John's game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Jordan Roberts needs to be Jordan Roberts for not only this game against St. John's this week, but for the rest of the playoff season here, I think. So.
And not only Jordan Roberts, but Tucker Treadle in the backfield. Right. I don't think we've touched on him at all. As a freshman, he's stepped right in, and he gives that kind of change of pace for Jordan Roberts. Jordan Roberts is a big back, but Tucker Treadle, he's deceptively fast, and he is very good at picking his holes and just he hits a hole and just goes. He has done a remarkable job as a freshman.
Yeah, absolutely. Great addition to that St. Thomas backfield. So, Tom, we're coming into yet another St. John's game. What would you say is going to be different about this matchup besides, not going to be maybe the largest atmosphere compared to the original Tommie-Johnnie game, if I may use the term original? But what do you think is going to be the main differentiating factors for this game?
Well, we're really in uncharted territory here. NCAA game for the first time. This rivalry goes back over 100 years. This will be, 85th meeting between these two teams, and it's never happened before. And one thing also, it's Thanksgiving. I don't think we've ever played a Tommie-Johnnie game where the crowd will be this sparse. I don't think they're bringing in the end bleachers, so it'll be kind of curious. I know those players are used to when they're playing St. John's, to just noise from all sides surrounding them and just a raucous atmosphere to get them riled up. Yeah. But what's it like playing in front of kind of a smaller crowd? Do you have to kind of pump yourself up, if you will?
I don't think that's going to be the case for St. Thomas. I think Glenn Caruso has got this sort of not emotional standpoint, but more of just a mindset for the team that it's always go time. We talked about this when they played Hamlin and had a pretty large score margin, and how was that okay for them to do and so forth. Mm-hmm. But the mindset in the St. Thomas program is to always be doing your best. I think just never letting up, always running your program the way you would if the game was, a 7-point difference, or if it were, 63-point difference as it was this year a couple times, actually, which is very
Well,
sad.
and I think this will be a really good game because of the added significance. If you think
Yeah.
of Tommie-Johnnie, if we're thinking just on the field, Tommie-Johnnie, obviously there's a lot, it's a big rivalry for a reason. The players kind of don't like each other, if I can use that term.
yeah.
And then you
I think
also
that's a
have
good
the added motivation of this is the NCAA playoffs. If we don't win, we're going home.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see who can represent the MIAC further on, as it's a pretty tough way out there deeper in the playoff bracket. Anyways, that's going to do it for us here on this latest edition of Tommy Media's Tommy Chalk Talk. If you have a question or concern for us, tweet it to @TommyMedia. And one last time for Tom Pitzen, I'm Jake Remes. We wish you and yours the best Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next time.